I heard that Fiendsmith is supposed to be a good deck, but it's missing a card. But what does Fiendsmith do on its own? I actually had no idea before I read the archetype. But let's go over it now. The Fiendsmith is a light fiend level 6 monster with relevant attack and defense. It has 3 different effects that each have their own hard ones per turn. One of them is you can discard it to any Fiendsmith spell trap when you touch your hand. You can target a Fiendsmith equip card you control and one monster on the field and send them to the graveyard. It's Scrap Dragon, yep. If this card's in your graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into your deck or extra deck. Because, what? You're gonna use a light fiend from your extra deck? Psh, no way. You're not gonna put those in your graveyard and you get a special on this card. Pretty much, discard it to add a card to your hand. Then you summon it back to your field. Then you can Scrap Iron. Then we have Fiendsmith. It's Latin. I'm not going to be able to read it. I think it means tearful. Something like sadness or something like that. It's a level 6 light fiend fusion monster. We have 24 into both of its stats. It takes 2 light fiend monsters to make. Monsters your opponent control lose 600 attack. Not bad. Meaning it's effectively a 3000 attack point monster. And also has 2 more effects, which each have their own individual hard ones per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target one light fiend in your graveyard or banished, either added to your hand or special summon it. Allows you to do whatever you need. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shovel one other light fiend from your graveyard into your deck / extra deck to inflict some damage to your opponent. If it goes to your graveyard, I don't normally like effects that say, if this goes to the graveyard, do this. Because I don't want to give an incentive to my monster to go to the graveyard. I know that's a little hypocritical, because I like ABC, but that's besides the point. But it's not like this monster's only thing is going to the graveyard. It can get you more stuff, it can reduce your opponent's attack points, and when it goes to the graveyard, it's only benefits. And, for example, what if you used it for link material? Which does work if it's under the graveyard at all. Fiendsmith Day of Wrath? I think that's what it means. It takes the Fiendsmith and 2 light fiend monsters. As a quick effect, it has 2 different effects, which each have their own hard ones per turn. One of them is as a quick effect, you can negate the effects of negate face-up card effects equal to the number of link ratings of monsters equipped to this card. So if you had 2 link monsters equipped to this, a link 1 and a link 2, you'd have 3 link ratings, meaning you can negate 3 cards as a quick effect. This should I'm pretty sure this works on quick play spell cards, normal spell cards, and normal trap cards, and stuff like that. So you can negate your opponent's card, and it's already declared to go to the graveyard, so it goes to the graveyard with no effect. And also, if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can shovel one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into your deck / extra deck, then target one card in the field, send it to the graveyard. So you can send back this to your extra deck to be able to send one of your opponent's cards to the graveyard. It's more of a safety net, because it's going to be difficult for your opponent to get rid of this, but if they do, you have a backup plan. Then we have Fiendsmith Requiem. A link 1, 600 attack, takes a light fiend monster to make. You can only special summon it once per turn. It has 2 effects, which each have their own hard ones per turn. You can, during your main phase, as a quick effect, you can tribute this card to special summon a Fiendsmith monster, your hand or deck. Now, just to clarify, just in case you're not understanding, there is only one Fiendsmith monster that can be in your hand or deck. It does not say extra deck. That is the Fiendsmith, which heavily implies we're going to get more main deck Fiendsmiths, because we don't. That's kind of redundant. It should just say special summon the Fiendsmith. But of course, if we get more, then it would make sense for it to have that kind of text. Also, you can target one non-link light fiend monster you control. Equip this from your field or graveyard to that monster. You control as an equip card that gives it 600 attack. So you get to equip it to this guy. who then has his effect online, more attack points, and when you send it to the graveyard, you get effect. When you send it to the graveyard, get an effect. Then you use its other effect to equip it to your monster. Moving on, we have Fienddmith Sequence, a Light Fiend Link 2. It takes 2 monsters, including a Light Fiend. They don't both have to be Light Fiends, just one of them. Monsters, it has 2 effects, which each have their own hardpoints per turn? No. Yes. During the main phase, if you can fusion summon one Fiend's fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling this monster into by shuffling its materials from your graveyard into your deck. So if it stays on your field, you can make a fusion monster. You can target one non-link Light Fiend monster you control. Equip this card from your from your field or graveyard to that monster you control. It also makes it so that card is unaffected by. It can be targeted. Yes. So you get to fusion summon and then put it onto your monster, meaning it has, wow, three arrows? Huh, I wonder why I mentioned 3 earlier. Now let's go into our spells. The Fienddmith Thratos? That's the best Google's giving me. It's a spell card. It has 2 different effects. Each have their own hard ones per turn. You can add 1 Light Fiend monster from your deck to your hand. Then discard 1 card. Easy, makes sense. You can bench this card from your graveyard to fusion summon a Fienddmith fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. It's a basic fusion spell mixed with a spell that lets you add a monster from your deck to your hand. You can use both effects on the same turn. It's just you can't do the same one on the same turn. Then we have Fienddmith Saint, a quick play spell card. If you control no monsters, or if all of them are Light Fiends, you can special summon 1 Fiendsmith token that's pretty much worthless. Well, it has no effect, pretty much no stats, level 1 Light Fiend. It can be used as link material and fusion material. Also, for the rest of the turn, only your Fiend monsters can attack. If a face-up Fiend monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, this card is sent to the graveyard. You can set this card. So, you can create a token the next turn, set this card back to your field. Well, hopefully not. You usually don't want your cards to be destroyed, but if they are, you just set it again. Which lets you create a new token, which lets you create a new Link 1 monster. Then, finally, Fiendsmith Imperium, the only card that I actually knew. It's still another thing I pronounce it right. It is a normal trap card. You can target 1 level 7 or higher Light Fiend monster you control. Send all cards on the field to the graveyard, except that monster. So, evenly matched but better. And it won't work for the Fiendsmith. It only works for Day of Wrath. So why wouldn't I just say that? Maybe it's because we're gonna get more level 7 or higher Light Fiend monsters. Of course, it can work out of archetype, but we're probably gonna get more. It's only 8 cards of an archetype. It also has another effect, where if your opponent special summons a monster while this card is in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish this card, send 1 Fiendsmith monster from your deck or graveyard to your graveyard. Of course, each effect has their own harvest per turn. In total, what does this archetype actually plan on doing? It plans on going into your fusion monster, and then also just equipping you with a bunch of cards and negate your opponent's cards and beat them. In game, don't punch your opponent. You will get arrested. But in total, it's XX. It's quite simple. You get out a monster, you negate all your opponent's, get a monster, negate all your opponent's stuff, and attack. Easy, simple, makes sense. It's quite consistent. Pretty much every card has a way to either get you into more cards, or a way to just continue your combo. Now, I don't know Now over here, we're missing what is it called again? Something, the baby form of Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, which people are using as a really good card for this deck. I don't remember what that card does. But if you want to go see that, I'm not gonna make a video on that, most likely. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. If you liked it, top deck the subscribe button, because you're only missing one piece of Exodia. You might get it. Oh, darn it. That would have been Black Lotus? Why do you have a Black Lotus in your deck? Judge, my opponent is playing the wrong game.